The information provided on this show does not, and is not intended to, constitute legal advice. Instead, all information on this show is for general informational purposes only. The information provided is not a substitute for legal advice, and we recommend viewers consult an attorney for specific legal matters.
Good morning and welcome to Condo Craze and HOAs here on a Sunday morning at 11 a.m. We are live and we're so thankful that you're with us again. We just love being here with you. And of course, we love our sponsors as well. It's possible, the show is made possible by our fantastic sponsors who truly offer the best services in South Florida, including our diamond sponsor, Best Roofing. And I'm here with attorney Eric Glazer.
Good morning.
He is board certified by the Florida Bar in Condominium and Plan Development Law. And you have a law firm here in Hollywood. It's called Glazer and Sachs, and then offices in Orlando as well.
Yes.
So, we're here each week to answer all your calls, questions in the chat. Also, you can call in live, toll free about anything that makes life in your condominium, HOA, absolutely crazy from 1 minute to the next. So if you'd like to get on the phone, we always do a little talk and advance our issue of the day, but we will get to you. 717-GLAZER-8, that's 717-452-9378. Again, you can also ask a question in the chat box.
Good morning, everybody. If you're a fan of the show, don't forget to subscribe to two things. Number one, of course, the Condo Craze and HOAs channel on YouTube. You don't have to just watch the show live today. You can watch all our past shows at your convenience. And of course, subscribe to our email list by subscribing to our email list at condocrazeandhoas.com. You don't only get announcements about the show, you get announcements about our seminars. We have to talk about that today. Because the schedule is out. It just rolls around really quick.
Oh, it's
right?
amazing.
Yeah. You can get announcements about new legislation. Yeah, October it's starting. And people are, obviously sending me emails. We want to register. Well, guess what? It's time to register.
I can't believe we got football. You got the Dolphins playing today.
All of a sudden, it's going to go from fall, right? It goes from summer to fall, like that. School starts tomorrow.
I know.
Yes.
In Broward.
In Broward. Oh, not in Dade.
Miami-Dade, there's a law that is supposed to start tomorrow.
Right.
But Miami-Dade's starting on Thursday.
Oh, I did not know that. Did not know. My daughter goes back to teaching kindergarten tomorrow.
Oh, that's so great.
Yes,
that's so great. Well, and you teach a lot of people about HOA.
Definitely not kindergarten, right? This is important stuff, right? Condo and HOA law. We'll be starting next month, basically. I think there's one we're doing one in September as well, all around the state. So just hang out. We'll give you the schedule really, really soon.
Yeah. So
we do a blog every single Monday morning at condocrazeandhoas.com. Check it out for tomorrow. And I think we probably have about 600 prior blogs on our website, all of which are searchable by topic. I even did that over the weekend.
That is
so.
You did it.
Yeah.
Oh, and you did.
I found what I said. I don't remember what I say, so I go back. I type it in, and there it comes up. Right.
So, you know what your blog topic is?
It's going to be about, excuse me, what we're talking about today.
Okay, good.
Okay, and today is a wild topic, and what made me write this topic is because I had a meeting earlier this week with, let's just say, banking representatives that everybody who's in this business in South Florida would know. I'm not throwing anybody under the bus today. That's not the idea.
Oh, come on.
But I will tell you, and I told them I wasn't going to throw them under the bus, but these are banking representatives who had a lot of interesting things to say about the new laws and the danger that these laws have put Florida condominium owners in. So
about taking loans out.
Let's start talking about it. You ready?
Ready.
Okay. So what do we know? The legislature was tough for 1 year. They spoke tough about 1 year that they're going to make everybody pay for this and that and no more kicking the can down the road. They were tough for 1 year. Finally, we thought after decades and decades of allowing unit owners to waive the funding of reserves, we had laws that were passed which required the owners in a 3-story or higher condominium to fund now what was called structural integrity reserves. And to remind everybody what that was, now you had to fund reserves for roof, for your structure, for your fireproofing, for your plumbing, for your electrical, for your waterproofing, for your windows and doors, and anything else that had a deferred maintenance expense of $10,000.
But
Yes.
there were unintended consequences,
Yeah,
Eric.
potentially, yes. Well, okay. But the most important thing, what? Could no longer be waived, right?
Right.
Finally, we're going to require the owners to put away money every single month so that when repairs were needed to be made, the money would be there, right? That was the important thing. And then the Florida legislature caved. And they put owners in a really, really precarious position that, mark my words, it's going to force countless Floridians into foreclosure or forced sales years from now. Not many years from now.
You're saying because of their fix for the unintended consequences, it's going to make it worse for them.
Correct. These are the unintended consequences that I'm referring to. Why? Because on July 1st, a new law went into effect which now allows the associations to fund these reserve accounts. They're mandatory, right? But they said, okay, we'll let you fund these reserve accounts by taking out a bank loan each year. In a word, disaster. Okay? So, the
banks don't like it.
That's exactly what we found out this week when I had my meeting.
You think they would love it? Why don't they like it?
Well, let me get into it. So we all know human nature, right? If the owners in a condo are allowed to take out a 10-year loan to fund the reserves that are due this year, the association's going to take out that 10-year loan. Believe me, 9 out of 10 times. And what do you think they're going to do next year if they have to fund the reserve account and they're allowed to take out another loan? Well, they're going to take out another loan. And what do you think they're going to do the next year and the year after that and the year after that? So instead of simply requiring the owners to reach into their pockets to fund the reserve accounts as they should, the Florida legislature is giving homeowners, condominium homeowners, enough rope to hang themselves with.
But that's the way it is today. People are putting their groceries on Klarna, paying for.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is on paying for because they can't afford it.
Well, here's the thing.
If you don't have the money, what are you going to
do? Then you sell your condominium.
Right, you get out.
But you don't go into foreclosure, right? If you go into foreclosure, you're going to wind up getting a lot less than what you could have gotten. Each year, if you allow it to happen this way, each year the association's outstanding loans are going to increase, right? If you're borrowing every single year to fund your reserves, every single year your loans are going to increase. Each year your monthly assessments are going to go up. The interest that you pay every single year is going to go up.
Does the law say anything about the interest that the banks can charge?
No.
Does it cap it?
Nope, does not. Absolutely not. And I can tell you it's going to eventually become impossible for many owners to pay their monthly assessments, all because the Florida legislature caved and simply couldn't require owners to pay the actual costs of what is required to live in the condominium.
And try to sell your condominium when it's got 4, 5, 6 loans on it.
Exactly, go do that.
Now you're not going to be able to sell it.
When the condo has all these outstanding.
Even sell it.
Exactly.
You're screwed. So I understand. You met with some banking executives.
Yes.
And in the Florida condominium loan industry, I didn't even know that existed.
Yep.
And these lenders themselves were shocked that after everything we learned from the Champlain Towers tragedy, the Florida legislature again let condo owners kick that can down the road, as you said, on 60 Minutes.
Now,
you were asked,
yep, and I'll tell you
what
this.
is this?
When I met with, let's just say, the bank president, okay, what words did he use? They let them kick the can down the road again.
He did.
That's his words, not mine. Okay, they thought it was insane to allow associations to borrow every single year to pay the reserve account and saddle the association and its owners with massive debt
and what's the
that
collateral?
they won't get out of.
They're going to lose their place. The collateral's gone.
The collateral is when a bank gives a loan to a condo. The collateral is if the association doesn't pay, the bank has the right to knock on everybody's door and say, don't pay your assessments this month to the condo. You're paying it to us, to the bank. But I can tell you, these bank executives,
they'll take your place.
They take the place of the association, and the association doesn't get paid now to pay their bills. right? The money goes directly to the bank.
But if you can't pay the bank, then what? They take the house.
They then potentially can sue you for the money. They can get a judgment against you. They can sue the association, and just let's say things get real bad for the condo.
But they can't foreclose
They
on
can't
you.
foreclose on you.
Well, there you
No,
go.
actually, you know what? If they take the place of the association
Yeah,
and
they
you don't
can.
pay them, then yes, they can
Yeah.
foreclose on you.
So
It's just bad. It's just bad.
And then how would a developer respond to that?
Love
If
it.
all the,
They're
they love all
developers
these
chomping
loans?
at the bit.
Oh,
Developers are loving this, but the bank wanted to know how it was possible that this happened so quickly, 1 year, and without the banks, again, their words, how did this happen without the banks having a seat at the table when
Right.
this legislation was
Let's
being
talk about
discussed?
It's a bit knee-jerk.
Yes, exactly what it was. Totally. And they were really, really upset that all of this happened without any input from the bank.
So, it's interesting because even though banks make money by lending, right?
Yeah.
You tell me that these executives thought that they wouldn't be harming their communities by lending to fund reserve accounts every year.
Yeah, they thought that if they did that, they would have to tell associations, you know what? You want another loan this year for reserves? Nope. We're not giving it to you. They actually thought that even though, like you said, the banks make money by lending, if they continue to give out loans year after year after year to condominiums, they would be harming the communities where the bank is located in. And they really don't want to harm the communities. And they're going to have to think about saying no.
A bank saying no.
Yeah.
So what if you do like the Tom Selleck loan? What is it when you
Reverse
reverse
mortgage.
your mortgage?
I-
So what if you reverse mortgage on a place that's got like 4 loans on it?
Well, I always thought a lot of people have. You see, the legislature thought it would be a terrible thing to make people pay what they actually should be paying, right? But the truth is, a lot of people, especially in 55 and over communities,
Yes.
I would say 90% or more of the people that are in 55 and over communities don't have a mortgage. So I'm sorry. Yes, it may be time to take a reverse mortgage and pay it and use your equity.
Will they give you a reverse mortgage if all this is going on?
It depends. It depends how much equity you have in the property. But the way things are right now, at least to me, everybody loses.
And
This is dangerous.
Can you pay up front what's owed and not be involved with all these loans?
Yes. So well, that's interesting how you phrase it. If an association takes out a loan,
They're
right?
still doing it.
And interest is owed on the loan, and say it's a 4-year loan, the association could say, okay, owner, you have a choice. You can pay yours up front with no interest, or you could take the payment plan. Like we have a 4-year
Okay.
loan, you can have the 4-year loan with
Okay.
interest. But remember, that's for the first year.
Right.
The second year, they're going to take out a loan again to fund the reserve account. The third year, they're going to take a loan out again to fund
But
the reserve
you
account.
paid it.
You paid only the first loan. You paid only the first loan. What about the second loan and the third loan and the fourth loan?
This sounds like a
Do you realize? I mean,
pyramid
yes,
scheme.
right. You really have to focus in on what we're talking about
Yes,
here.
it's
I mean,
crazy
it's
time.
crazy time, right? To allow an association every year to take out money to fund reserves. It's insane,
It's
right?
like colleges going to school.
Like student loans that you don't even realize what you're signing for.
Every year you're taking a loan out. So
exact-
and
and
then
it's
when
getting-
you get out, you have to pay it back. And
I like
you
the
can't,
I like the analogy. you know?
right?
I like the
It's
analogy.
like the student loans.
I like the analogy. I really do. Very good. Well, that's how I feel. That's how Karen feels. Of course, we want to know how you feel. So give us a call in the studio, 717-452-9378, 717-452-9378, or drop us a question or comment in the chat box on YouTube. We will be back right after this.
There are very large management companies and there are very small management companies. And I think Affinity sits somewhere in the middle of that, where they are big enough to provide you with all of the back of the house services, the accounting, the infrastructure, the support systems, but small enough to be high touch.
We believe at Affinity that we do the 9 to 5 so that you don't have to do that.
And welcome back to Condo Craze and HOAs here on our YouTube channel. Karen Curtis, Eric Glazer, he's board certified in community association law. We're taking your call 717-GLAZER-8 with a Z, and that is again 717-452-9378. 15 years ago, he invented classes for condo boards to learn. Instead of signing the affidavit, it became law, like last year.
And what I pushed for,
Yeah.
yes, was
It's
the
your
law to
legacy.
have it mandatory. Absolutely.
And now you're teaching again in October.
Lots of classes. And remember, if you don't get certified within 90 days of getting on a board, you are automatically off the board. So here we go. We're going to be teaching these classes all over the state. They're all going to be at the L&L Condo and HOA Expo. All of these classes are going to be starting at 8 o'clock in the morning. Karen, start it off. Where are we going to be?
October 7th in Broward, at the Broward Convention Center. Yeah.
Yes, and again, 8 o'clock in the morning. All of them start at the same time. A week later, October 16th in Palm Beach.
Tampa, October 21st. October 21st.
And October 29th will be in Bradenton.
November 5th. Can you believe it? Miami. You're doing Miami.
We're doing Miami, right. We got a lot of requests
Yes,
for
you
classes in Miami.
Well, you did.
So
You
we will
stopped
be
because
in
no
the-
one showed up?
I'm sorry? Yes, that's right. Well, I got to say this. The locations that it was being done in Miami were a lot of, there was like $40-50 for parking, so people were pissed off.
Oh.
Yeah, and I understand. This time it's somewhere out in the Miami Beach, in the Miami Airport location, somewhere around there. So I think there's a much better
So you
location.
can fly in.
Yeah, exactly. So it'll be much better. I
Good.
look forward. Miami, don't disappoint me. I'm looking forward to a really large turnout in Miami on November 5th, and we conclude
With
in,
Orlando, November 12th. You should have a Spanish speaker in Miami as well.
you know what?
Yeah.
So, we've spoken about this many times, right? Should the classes be taught in Spanish? My attitude is the laws are written in English, right? Your documents are written in English. The court systems is conducted in English. The arbitration hearings are conducted in English. I want to teach the class in English.
Okay.
Like I said, Florida
the
has a
state
constitutional
language.
amendment
Yep.
that says English is the official language. So I'm going with English.
All right.
You don't
Well,
want to
could have a
come because it's in
translator
English?
maybe,
What
or
can I tell
something.
you?
Okay. Well, Eric teaches so many different topics in English at the seminar, including all the new safety inspection reserve funding laws, which keep changing, the importance of the from time to time language, which is huge, official records, financial reports, and different types of documents, by the way. So go to our website. You can sign up right now. Condo Craze and HOAs, it's all one.com.
Yes, condocrazeandhoas.com, and we look forward to seeing everybody from all over the state. Okay, Rob, I understand we got some calls.
Go to the first caller is Joe from Pompano Beach.
Hey, Joe.
Hey, good morning, guys. Great show as always.
Good morning.
Eric, we got a problem in the building that I manage where one of the unit owners is a terrible hoarder.
Oh, no.
And when I say terrible hoarder, from floor to ceiling, she's got stuff piled up, which is, of course, a grave concern for the association, for fires and for pests
Sure.
and all that. We have
Rats.
sent her 2 certified letters, and we've also had our attorney send her a letter, and we're going on 3 months now, and we've heard nothing.
Yeah, because you're not going to hear anything.
That's got to be a HIPAA thing, right?
Well, hoarding is a mental illness.
Yeah.
Right? You know the
Yeah.
show Hoarders?
Yeah.
You may remember he was actually, the guy who was on the show, he was actually at one of our seminars.
That's
a
right.
long
I
time
remember.
ago. Yes,
You were
I
live
forgot
on
the
the
gentleman's
radio.
name, right?
Yeah.
But it's a mental illness. And, you're sending a letter to somebody asking them to do a rational thing.
And they don't think they're hoarding.
Right,
They're
exactly.
just doing their thing.
Exactly.
They're maximalists.
Yeah. So, yes, it's a danger to the people that live there. Yes, you know about it. And yes, you need to do something about it immediately. How do you know she's hoarding? Do you have
Yeah.
any pictures of it?
Oh yeah, I got a lot of pictures.
Okay.
What we did is we were doing a fire inspection, and she usually would never let us in her apartment. Like we do pest control once a month
Yeah.
and all that, and she always says no pest control today. But we had to get in for the fire inspection because they have to check all the alarms in the building and every
Right.
single unit. And for some reason, she opened the door, and they
Really?
went in and they couldn't get to the alarms.
Wow.
Oh.
And I said to
Terrible.
the guy, "Will you do me a favor?" I said, "Take my phone real quick and just get me some pictures." And I knew it was bad, but I never knew it was that bad.
Really? Okay. So, time to do something immediately. And when I say immediately, I mean tomorrow. You're putting the lives of people that live in the building in jeopardy. Right now, you know, the fire department can't even get to the alarms.
That's
Right.
illegal.
Yeah. I mean, so,
That is correct.
yeah, you need to take immediate action. You need to file a court petition to have her removed from the property, right? We've had cases where we've gone in, right? We've hired a company to clean out the property, literally throw everything out that can be thrown out, that's destroyed, that's bug-ridden, etc. The things that could be salvaged are salvaged. It would be great if you can contact family members, get an order keeping her out. You can also contact the Department of Children and Families. Maybe the court will appoint a guardian
There you go.
over her, right?
She
to
must
make
be
sure
paying
that
her
her
bills.
interests are represented. But this is not something that you could sit on. This is something that has to be done immediately. I'm telling you, God forbid something should happen in the building. You guys know about it for a while. You know,
Yeah.
the only time that the directors and officers can get sued in their individual capacity
If they
is
know
when you
about
know
it.
there's a safety issue and you do nothing about it.
Is she up on all of her payments and everything?
She is. She's up on all of her payments,
Interesting.
but it has. She's an older lady. You know, the funny thing about she's a nurse by trade,
Isn't it amazing?
and she'd come down and I'd always talk to her and all that. And like I said, I never knew her apartment was as bad as it was until back in May
Right.
when we tried to get in to do the inspection.
Well,
And
Joe,
I've been handling very. She actually thanked me for being so nice to her.
look,
Oh.
very nice, but that still doesn't mean that the rest of the people that live in the building aren't in tremendous danger. So, Joe, you got to do what you got to do, what you got to do. You know, she could be the nicest woman in the world. It doesn't mean that the board sits back because she's nice, you know? So it's time to
Right.
actually go into court. And when I say immediately, I mean just that.
Yeah, because you have exposure.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay? Joe,
So
thanks for the
you
call. I
always have
wish you
great
a lot of
advice,
luck,
and I
my
really
friend.
appreciate it.
You be well. Who else we got, Rob?
Thank you, sir. Bye-bye.
You got
This
it.
guy says you can't reverse mortgage on a condo. Not true. My mom did.
Not true. Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
Who else we got?
All right. Next caller is John from Dana Beach.
Hey, John.
Hey, good morning, Eric. Good morning, Karen.
How are you?
Two quick questions. We had it's an HOA, by the way. We had back in our February meeting of this year, we had two companies. Our contract with Comcast is coming due. That we were had a 10-year contract with them. You know, and we could only get internet through them, and then we had our gate systems hooked up to the Comcast internet. So two companies came in and they made a presentation, one being Comcast. So the way that the board left it at that point was, and it's in the meetings, they will continue to explore options, and they've asked Comcast for a 5-year to look at
Yes.
a 5-year contract also, as opposed to another
Smart.
10-year contract.
Right. Sure.
Now this is back in 2017. So on 3/5, we come to find out that the president of the HOA decided on her own
Oh dear.
to sign an 11-year contract
Oh.
with Comcast. No board vote and no input from the community. It affects us all.
Right.
So then fast forward to 8/3, which is 5 months later, they decide that they're going to ratify the Comcast contract that was signed 5 months ago without a board vote or input from the community. To me, I smell a rat there, and it seems they did it all backwards.
Okay,
They
let's
should have
stop
gotten
there.
both,
Let's
gotten
stop
the
there.
approval.
Hold on.
And
Let
then
me,
go to
John, let me
the
stop
board.
you for a second. Okay. So I
Yeah.
had this situation a couple of years ago in a condo, right? And if you look at the statute says that even though that the contract was signed by the board, the owners themselves have a right to cancel the contract at the next owners meeting. Not at the next board meeting, but the next owners meeting. So the next time there's an owners meeting, right, there could be a motion made, right, to cancel the Comcast contract that was entered into the board by the board on whatever it was, 3/17. And if you can get enough votes there, which I believe is a majority of all the units, majority of all the homes, that contract is canceled.
So you can cancel a contract.
You can cancel a bulk cable contract.
Okay.
Yes, the unit owners have a right to do that. Okay, and I can tell you that I had the same exact situation a few years ago, and the cable company threatened to sue, and they didn't, because they knew that under the statute we were absolutely right. You have a right to back out of it.
The 11 years bothers me because the way things are going now, more people are just using online. They're streaming.
Yes.
They're not using the cable.
They're not using TV.
Yeah, they're not using TV at all.
Yep, exactly.
And so now you're in it for 11. What's going to happen in 5 years to the industry?
Brandon, who so many of you know.
Your son.
Yes. Do you know that he hasn't had a TV in his room for years?
They don't need it. My daughter doesn't have cable.
Yeah, what do you want? I'll buy you a TV.
Well,
no, I don't want one. It's okay. I don't watch TV.
No, they don't. They watch. Yeah.
Yeah, and the other thing too is and Comcast has given us $39,000 to extend. The other company offered us $139,000.
Wow.
So, yeah, so there's something wrong going
Maybe
on
they
here.
offered you 130 and she took 100.
You can with 60-day notification, you can get out of that contract. But still, we're locked in for 11 years, and they did this backwards. So I'm going to put together an owners meeting, and we're going to address this.
Exactly.
And by the way, you mentioned that was a condo statute. Does that apply for HOA?
Yeah, I'm going to check the statute during the break, John. And I will, when we come back from the break, I'll review it with you, and we'll go from there. Okay?
Good point.
Okay. Question number 2, very quickly.
Really quick, John.
Signage. Our documents basically say you cannot have a sign on the property, and it doesn't say real property versus common property. It doesn't differentiate with permission of the board. Now, we've got 61, the rules haven't been applied here in years and years and years, which was another thing we talked about at the meeting. And what they did is there's at least 61 signs throughout the community. You know, Chicago Bears signs,
yes.
Flags of Ukraine, mezuzahs, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I have signs out in front of my house. And one of the signs that I added was, the fight, fight, fight from Trump. Oh. And there was another sign that I came across, and it is in the upper left-hand corner, in the upper right-hand corner, it says 4547. It is a picture of Trump with 2 middle fingers out, and on the bottom it's captioned, "You missed me twice, bitches." And all of a sudden, I got a letter saying, John, that sign's kind of offensive, and we'd appreciate it if you'd remove it. But nobody else in the community has gotten a letter like that, or gotten an email like that.
If they allow signs, they better allow all signs.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I'm surprised.
Including for sale signs, for rent signs, doesn't differentiate between the type of signs. Then I will tell you, if they're going to allow signs, a sign is a sign is a sign, including a Merry Christmas, Happy Holiday sign. Any sign is a sign. So if they're going to allow one, they're going to allow them all, including a fight, fight, fight sign.
Well, what about him flipping people off? You missed me twice.
Well, was he flipping people off?
Yeah, he's got the middle finger up, right?
He's got the 2 middle fingers up.
The bottom. That's why I was surprised.
Yeah, maybe that might be a little offensive. Just maybe chop off the fingers and we're good.
Or blur them out.
Right, exactly. John, we got to go. All right. Okay.
I was like, you're kidding me.
Let's say that the middle fingers weren't there. That would clearly be a sign of selective enforcement. But, as much of a Trump fan as I am, I got to admit that sticking the middle fingers up might be offensive to some people.
This is offensive.
Right, and I get it. Let's do this. I'm going to look for that cable contract during the break, but let's take our bottom of the hour break. Taking your call, 717-452-9378, 717-452-9378, or drop us a question or comment in the chat box on YouTube. Back right after this.
Roomkiss Consultants offer the professional expertise to help condominium and cooperative communities provide safe, compliant buildings for their tenants. We have more than 170 Florida-licensed engineers and architects who are experienced with local regulations and can assist with Senate Bill 4D compliance. We can help with milestone structural inspections, capital expenditure evaluations, structural integrity reserve studies, and developer transition reports. Focusing on energy, resilience, maintainability, and sustainability, our experts can help with every phase of the building life cycle. Contact us for inspections, building restoration, repair and remediation consulting, or mitigation after a catastrophic event.
All over the world, people have plumbing problems. These problems can be expensive and destructive to fix. Have you ever wondered if there was a way to take care of your plumbing problems without destruction and an outrageous price tag? Welcome to Pipelining Technologies, Inc., where we specialize in fixing your problems without demolition and minimum cutting by means of pipelining. Pipelining is the ability to take a pipe damaged by root intrusion or long-term deterioration and make it new. By means of inserting an epoxy-saturated liner into the pipe and allowing it to harden or cure, leaving behind a brand new pipe.
That sounds great. How can I get pipelining in my home, commercial building, or condominium?
Simply fill out our online contact form and a pipelining representative will get in touch with you in a timely fashion, or call us directly at 561-853-5463.
Welcome back to the second half hour of Condo Craze and HOAs on our YouTube channel. Karen Curtis with attorney Eric Glazer. Again, he's board certified in community association law. Lots going on in condos, especially in HOAs. 717-GLAZER-8 is the number to call if you have a question for Eric. 717-452-9378.
All right, before we went to the break, John had a question about an HOA entering into a bulk cable contract. And he said the board signed the contract already.
Well, no, the president
said signed the board,
and
right,
and
they
then the board's
ratified
gonna
it.
ratify it.
So can the members get out of it? And this is from the HOA statute 720. Any contract entered into by the board may be canceled by a majority of the voting interests present at the next regular or special meeting of the association, whichever occurs first. Any member may make a motion to cancel such contract, but if no motion is made or if such motion fails to obtain the required vote, the contract shall be deemed ratified for the term expressed therein. So you got to make sure this vote takes place at the very first membership meeting after the contract is signed. Okay?
And that's 720?
At 720, yeah, and then you can do it. So I hope that answers your question, John.
And in the same vein, who decides to get the loans that we talked about at the beginning of the show?
Question
the board
from, yeah.
or the membership, same idea.
Same idea. Okay, so in terms of loans, you got to take a look at what the governing documents of the condo or HOA say. Typically, it's condos that are borrowing. And if they basically say nothing, the term borrow is not in there, then there's always language that says that condominium boards have all the power that is given to corporations under the not-for-profit statute. And under the not-for-profit statute, corporations have the right to borrow. Okay, so your condo, if there's nothing expressly prohibiting the board from borrowing money, the condo would have the right to actually borrow the money.
But wouldn't that be a bulk contract?
No, we're not talking about.
I know, but still,
this bulk contract only applies to cable.
Okay,
this is a bulk cable
isn't
contract.
a loan a contract?
But not a bulk contract.
Oh.
Yeah, bulk contract is strictly for cable television, nothing else.
Okay.
Okay. So again, if in borrowing money, it's a total different situation.
Okay.
Borrowing money is you look to see what the documents say. If there's no prohibition, they could do whatever they want. But there might be a prohibition. And the prohibition might be that you can't borrow money without a vote of the owners. And sometimes you'll see that.
Now that would be
sometimes
big.
And before the bank actually loans the money, the attorney always has to write an opinion letter that have examined the documents. The board is allowed to borrow money because of the following.
So make sure there's an opinion from the attorney.
Or the bank will never lend unless there is an opinion from the attorney.
But so this not-for-profit.
The not-for-profit statute allows the board to do it. Correct.
That's kind of interesting because...
And that, by the way, that's not in 718. That's in 617, which is the not-for-profit statute. So you got to look in a couple different places.
Aha.
Interesting. To the phones, Robert.
All right. Next caller is calling from Hollywood. State your name.
Yeah, Carrie Franco.
Hey, Carrie.
From Hollywood.
How are you, Carrie?
How are you?
Good.
Good. Great show, great show. I
Thank
have
you.
a thing with the loan. We did take out a loan or a line of credit we took out because I'm on the board, and we took out a line of credit. And what we did for this year's budget, we figured out if we use $1 million of that $3 million that we took out as the line of credit, we would need $400,000 a year to pay it back. So what we did was we put a line in our budget to pay that loan back. So we have a line of $400,000 put into the budget. So we collect that money and put it to the side. So just in case we need to use that money. And I think that would be the way people should, or board should do it, instead of just saying, oh, we're going to take a line of credit and then go with an assessment.
Well, Carrie, Carrie, with all due respect, the bank would never have loaned you that money if you didn't promise one of two things. One is to do it exactly the way you're doing it, to put a line in the budget that specifically says we're going to pay back the loan each year.
You have
right,
to do that.
in our budget, right? We're going to collect it with assessments from the owners each month to pay it back. Or two, we're going to collect it by way of a one-time special assessment. So, you know, yes, you did it, but quite frankly, you had no choice. You had to do it that way.
Yeah, we did it that way and everything. I just feel that it's the right way, because if we had to do with a full reserve,
right,
we had to put the full reserve, we would have had to put almost a $300 to $400 maintenance, additional maintenance onto people. And
what are you going to do next year?
Right, that was the question. So
it's going to be too much.
So what are you going to do next year with the reserves?
Well, probably because we still have the line of credit and the $3 million, we're not going to be using that much, because we've already done so much here in our condo over the past couple of years of major work. So basically what we're going to do is keep a line in there to pay back of a $400,000 that we put in every year. We're going to keep it at a $400,000.
Wait. But you have this open line. Wait, Carrie. I want to understand this. This is important. I want the listeners to understand this. So next year, you're saying you're still going to have this open line of credit, right? You can still borrow from the bank, right? You haven't used up the whole amount, right? And I asked you,
correct,
how are you going to fund? You're required to fully fund your reserve account next year, right? And you told me that you're going to be accessing that line of credit again. Would that be correct?
If we need it.
Saying they did a lot of work.
We have reserves already. We do have like $1 million in reserve in our reserve account, plus the $3 million, which will cover us for about 8 years.
Okay.
According to the SIR.
Okay. All right. But I thought you were saying there's this open line of credit, and if we can't put a line item in the budget for reserves next year, if nobody could afford it, we still have that line of credit there that we're going to be accessing. So the amount that you owe on the line of credit is going to go up, period.
Correct. We understand that. But if we're putting money in the budget to pay it back, if we know that we figured out $1 million, that we would use $500,000 this year, maybe $500,000 next year, it was $1 million. So we needed $400,000 to pay that. So we put already $400,000 away.
No, I understand, but if each year you're borrowing on the line of credit to fund your reserve accounts, unless I have lost my mind, the amount of money that you're going to keep owing on your line of credit is going up. No?
Not so. No. Because you're paying out, depending on what it is, if we pay off the line within a certain amount of time, we still have that line of credit. Basically, when you have a line of credit, just so you know, when you have a line of credit, when you start paying into the line of credit, that credit goes back up. So if you took out $500,000 and you pay back $200,000, you still have a $2.5 million in the line of credit.
I understand, but if you're not, but if you're not paying back the full amount of the money that you take out for the reserves, right? Let's say your reserves cost $400,000. And you take that from your line of credit, but you're only paying back $200,000, right? Then the amount that you owe on the line of credit, didn't it go up by $200,000?
It'll be $600,000.
And wouldn't the same thing happen next year and the year after? And Unless I'm crazy, that's how it is. That's how it's going to be with a lot of associations that have access to line of credits, and that's what makes it dangerous. I'm sorry, Carrie. It's the only way I see it. Okay?
But it is
Rob, we
interesting.
got to go to the next call.
It is interesting, though, that, you know, the reserves are going to eventually go down once all the work is done.
Absolutely, that's correct.
So it's not going to be every year, you know.
That's correct.
And he's saying that they've done a lot of work,
right?
You know,
that the reserves will be low.
But they've got the $400,000 in the budget. Whether or not it's paid or not is another story. Whether or not everyone's going to pay it.
If you pay off everything, you fix everything, okay? Then why should there even be a need to borrow from a line of credit if you're saying we don't our reserves are small.
And he says
so why aren't you even paying that?
He says he has $1 million already in reserves. I don't understand.
Either do I.
Okay.
Either do I. Rob, who do we got?
All right, next caller is Eric.
Eric.
How are you, Eric?
Good, and you?
All right, good morning.
Good morning. I don't think any of my board members have taken the certification that's required by the state. And I want to know at our next board meeting, I stand up, how do I go about asking them properly?
You can ask whether or not they'll answer is something else, but what you can definitely do is you can make a written request for access to records and say that I want to see the certificate that you received when you actually did take the educational course, because that certificate is an official record of the association.
Isn't it supposed to be on the website?
Yes, if they have a website,
Okay,
absolutely. The
website.
certificate should be on the website. If your association's required to have a website, Karen's right, that certificate has to be posted on the website.
And if it's not there, your next meeting you go, all of you are off the board.
Right. And let's see what they say. You have a
Irrelevant.
manager? Do you have a manager for the association?
We don't have a website. We just have a management company, you know, that gives us reports now and then. But we don't even have a website.
Yeah. How many units do you have in your association?
144.
Wow, 150 would have been the cutoff. That's what they needed.
Wow.
Yeah, so they just missed their. But then
I thought it was 25.
On January 1st, it'll be 25.
Okay.
Yeah, on January 1st, you're going to have a website, but right now it's 150. But
Wow.
ask you can put the manager on the spot and say, aren't they supposed to have taken a class within 90 days, right? And see what happens. In that class, if it's a condo, they needed to complete that class by June 30th. So if they didn't, yes, technically, they are all off the board. Whether or not they'll step down, that's another story, right? But if they won't give it to you, make a request for access to the official records by certified mail, return receipt requested, and you want to get a copy of the certificate that each director received when taking the mandatory educational course. We are running real late for our final break of the hour, so let's take it right now. Taking the call, 717-452-9378, 717-452-9378. Don't wait for the last second. We'll be back right after this.
In South Florida, the transition from bright sunshine to heavy rain and hurricanes can take a toll on your property's exterior and structural integrity. Cracked stucco, spalled concrete, they're more than eyesores. They can signal deeper issues. Now, with new Florida laws involving structural integrity requirements, we want to help you meet your milestone inspections and maintain the durability and beauty of your building. Since 2004, PD has been the trusted expert in structural concrete restoration, painting, and waterproofing for condominiums and commercial properties. Visit pd-concrete.com or call us today.
Life is full of steps. We learn to take small steps and big steps. We take steps toward adventure, to discover what's next. At South State, helping you take each step is what inspires us to keep moving forward, so you can keep enjoying what's next in your life. This is banking at its best. This is banking forward.
We are DMI Paving and Seal Coating, Florida's parking lot experts. We specialize in asphalt paving and repair, including pothole repair, seal coating using JC7 or polytar, concrete curbs, ramps, and walkways, and striping and pavement marking, as well as ADA compliance. We service commercial properties, including homeowners associations, apartment communities, shopping malls, warehouses, stadiums and arenas, and more. Experience is worth more than anything in an industry like ours, and our staff has decades of it. We have specialized equipment for any job, regardless of size, saving you time and money. DMI has a reputable history. We have been in business since 1956. We serve the state of Florida from 6 locations. Let us bid on your next parking lot project. Visit us online at dmipavingandsealcoating.com.
And welcome back to the final segment of Condo Craze and HOAs here on our YouTube channel. Karen Curtis, attorney Eric Glazer. If you have a question, call us. The number is 717-452-9378. That's 717-GLAZER-8. And just to go back on what the guy was talking about there, you know, at least his board is savvy enough to know that they are 6 shy of having to have a
put
website.
it on the website, right?
But the
right.
line of credit thing is really blowing up on the chat.
Yes.
And it's like, well, it's a line of credit, Eric. We have Klarna. It's okay.
Let's look at what some of the comments actually say. And this is, by the way, this is absolutely not to make fun of the gentleman that called in.
No.
It's to point out that I don't know if everybody understands what's going on out there. So George writes in, unfortunately, the man currently speaking has no idea of the way reserves work and lines of credit work. God help his condo. I mean, I was talking to him and it was like I was getting the impression, does he think that lines of credit don't have to get paid back? If you're using the line of credit to fund your reserve account, that's the same thing that we were talking about, using a loan to pay back, to fund your reserve accounts each year. I mean, that line of credit, when he borrows from that line of credit to pay reserves, right, instead of that being paid in one shot, as if the people had to go into their pocket for it, that what they owe on that line of credit will be paid back over years.
Right.
And if they access a line of credit next year again,
even if it's in your
and the
budget
year
that
again,
says you are paying it.
exactly. So,
is the board protected if they do an annual loan? This is Anthony Dunn.
not sure what that means if they're protected, but
By the way, people are waiting on the phone lines. Don't hog it up.
don't hog. Well, look what Spreadsheet Guru writes in. Another day older and deeper in debt. I owe my soul to the company store, and he cites Tennessee Ernie Ford. Well, another day older and deeper in debt, you may instead of Tennessee Ernie Ford, you may wind up crediting that line to the Florida legislature when all is said and done, and that's scary. Debbie writes in, this is just so scary that Florida can't figure this out. You know, and that's the way I feel about it.
Right.
It's exactly the way I feel.
It's not a solution to the
Borrowing
problem.
money is not a solution to the problem.
It's a shell game.
It's and it's again, don't look at me. I'm quoting the banking executives. They can't believe that the Florida legislature kicked the can down the road again. It costs a certain amount of money to live in your condominium each month.
Period.
This is the cost.
And you've been kicking that you haven't paid it.
If
It's
you
time to
can't
pay it.
afford the cost, you can't live there. Why is that so impossible for people to understand? I don't get it. This is the cost. It costs money to keep your building up to code. It costs money to keep your building safe. If you can't afford to keep it safe, sorry, you
Well,
can't
maybe
live there.
that's what the question about the loan. If they have a loan, then they're not exposed if something happens in the building.
If they have a loan, they are exposed to a lot of problems like foreclosures of the people.
But
right?
if a safety situation happens,
that's true. But
they funded the reserves to fix it.
Right, but eventually that has to be paid back.
Okay.
So what are you doing? You're making it paradise ultimately for developers on the prowl. That's what you're doing. This is a wonderful law for developers.
You're fixing
what a
the building.
Great law for developers.
You're fixing it for them to swoop in.
And you're putting everybody in a situation where they're not going to be able to pay it back. They're going to go into foreclosure. But here comes the developer, the knight in shining armor, right? That's going to give these people, X dollars to buy their unit, and they lost it. You worry about people losing their units? Do it this way.
Because then no one's going to offer to buy your unit. They're going to take it.
They're going to take it for a price on the cheap. Absolutely. That's what's going to happen. Back to the phones, Rob.
All right, let's go to, I think this is Donna from Miami.
Hey, Donna.
Oh, it might be Donata.
Donata.
Oh, Donata.
Hi, Eric.
Hey, good morning, Donata. How are you?
Eric, the thing with the special reserves, I think the money should be untouchable because the majority of unit owners, and it happens, I think 80% of the time, the board steals or mishandles the money.
Okay, so let me
That's
stop
why
you.
people don't.
Let me stop you right there, Donata, okay? So Donata raises the point that there's people out there, I'm not saying a lot of people, but there are people out there that are against.
Oh, yes, there's a lot.
Okay, there's people out there that take the position that, wait a minute, look what we're doing now, right? We're acquiring associations to fund their reserve accounts to the tune of millions of dollars and maybe even the tens of millions of dollars in some associations, right? And board members have access to that money with really not and no way to be watched. Don't let people become, you know, pesky with become a pest and keep asking them for bank records. So that's why some people are against it. But as much as I understand what you're saying, the bottom line is the money still has to be there to make repairs.
Can the owners get together and make it be put into a trust?
No, but you don't need to do that. Why don't you need to do that? Because there's a statute now that says the board must carry insurance for the maximum amount of funds that are going to be on hand with the association at any one time.
And they're insuring this?
And they're insuring this, right. So it's employee theft coverage, employee dishonesty coverage. So let's say that, normally, and I tell boards this all the time, normally you're used to having $300,000 in the bank with various accounts. But now, because of these new laws, mandatory funding of reserves, mandatory repairs, all of a sudden you're going from $300,000 to $6 million that you're going to have in the bank at any one time. You need to contact your insurance agent and say, okay, how much did we have in employee dishonesty coverage before? Oh, only $300,000? Well, we need to make sure now that we have employee dishonesty coverage for $6 million.
And how much does that cost?
I don't know what the costs are. And the truth is, I don't think it's going to be all that much, but it's something that the association is going to be required to pay for, so that your concern, like board members running off with the money, is taken care of. Okay, so
they might do it even more if they know it's insured.
If it's insured, they don't feel bad for the people.
Like FDIC.
Listen, like I said, I've represented how many associations in 30-something years, right? Or thousands, right? And out of all those associations, how many times did I come to learn that board members took money?
Didn't you represent the hammocks?
Very few. Yes, but okay, there's one.
It doesn't come out. It's because it doesn't come out, Eric.
You say it doesn't come out. Maybe in some situations it doesn't come out. But and I mean this. I don't necessarily think that, and I've said this 1,000 times. I don't necessarily think that board members or a group are any worse than lawyers as a group. You know how many times lawyers get charged with taking money from their trust account?
What about people taking money from pension accounts like Robert Maxwell?
Exactly, and they get disbarred, by the way. You know how many lawyers get disbarred from touching their reserve account? Do you know how often do you read about doctors or some medical group or medical supply company ripping off Medicaid? Is that not something that you pick up the newspapers almost every day?
A lot.
And you read about?
Rick Scott.
I mean... Wow, that's right. Big case previously, right?
Yeah.
And let me ask you this, Eric.
Yeah.
So this insurance, it would because the insurance that associations have protects the board. Okay, so this insurance of theft, would the insurance company go after the board?
They might, yes. Yes, they might go after them for subrogation, but the insurance policy that's there is there to protect the unit owners.
Do they do a background?
Nope. No, it has nothing to do with that, but it's there to protect the unit owners. So if the money gets stolen, you have to report this to the police. You have to do a police report so the insurance company knows it's real, And then what happens is the insurance company does an investigation. And if you can show the insurance company that the money was in fact stolen, they're required to reimburse the association for the stolen funds.
Did the hammocks have insurance?
I don't know. No idea. But there was a whole bunch of lawsuits that came out of that. So a lot of people were sued for that. But Donata, thank you for the call, like always. Okay, really appreciate it.
Thank you, Eric.
Yeah,
Thanks a lot.
you got it. Yeah, there's always that. A lot of people say, well, wait a minute, this is just going to mean the board's going to have access to millions of dollars and they're going to take it. Again.
What's the other one with the president? You represented that building over in Sunny Isles. And he got arrested.
And you're talking about potentially the one that's in Aventura now.
Aventura.
There was one on Turnberry on the Green, right?
Yeah.
There's a case that's going on now that I think the president claimed he was the president and the bookkeeper and the manager and the security guard, all things like that. And he wound up taking a whole bunch of money. And let's just say that's not going over too well. I understand. He was arrested. But that's something I was involved in many, many, many moons ago, Karen.
No, I mean, you're not representing these places
Does it happen?
anymore.
Of course it happens. Yes, it happens. But there's thousands and thousands and thousands of associations out there. And how often do you hear about, stealing? So what happens, a couple times a year you hear about it.
Maybe we don't know.
That's Donata's point. Maybe we don't know. But again, as a group, do I think board members are any worse than any other group? No, I really don't think so. I truly believe, call me crazy, but I truly believe that the people that get on the board, and I may wind up taking heat for this, don't get on there to steal. I don't believe that for a second. Maybe once they get on the board, they see certain opportunities that might become too easy.
For the debit card.
Maybe.
That's why get rid of the debit card.
But do I think that they get on there because they want to be able to do illegal things? No, I certainly don't believe that with the overwhelming majority of people that run for the board. Absolutely not. Jill writes in and says a line of credit only stays a line of credit. Jill's smart. For a year or two, and then becomes a loan. So now this loan has extended a year or two. She is so right. So generally how a bank does it is, okay, we'll give you access to this line of credit for you to make repairs, right? So we'll let you draw down on it. Let's say it's up to $4 million, and we'll let you draw down on it. And whatever you've taken out after 2 years, let's say you've taken $4 million out. After the 2 years that we let you draw down, then that becomes a term loan. So now that $2 million or that $4 million you took out, you got to pay that back over 7 years. Yeah. And by the way, then that line is closed. You can't borrow on it any longer. Okay? So
then you're going to take another one.
Correct. Okay. So now you can't draw down on that loan anymore to fund your reserves. Now what are you doing? So now you owe that loan, right? That line of credit is now a loan. And now what do you do if you want to fund your reserve accounts and you can't draw down on that anymore? You just said it. You're going to take out another loan. And how many loans do you have? Now, two. The next year, you don't want to charge the unit owners again what they really owe for reserves. So what are you going to do? Take out another. And this is what the Florida legislature is allowing. And I'm telling you, this is what the local banking industry is saying is absolutely freaking insane. Okay, absolutely insane. But this is where we're at right now in Florida. And man, I hope powers that be are listening to this.
It's a solution.
Yeah.
By the way, Joe Kennedy asks, how long is a certification good for? It's a year.
So the certification in Florida let's talk about condo directors. Okay, so for condo directors, you have to take that 4-year course, right? And if you get the certificate, that certificate is good for the 4 years.
It doesn't take 4 years to take it.
No, it does not. But that
it covers
I'm sorry. Did I say 4 years?
4
that
hours.
4-hour class. That 4-hour class is good for 4 years, I believe. Okay, you got to take that once every 4 years, and in addition to that, 1 hour of continuing education every single year. HOA directors have to take that initial course. It does not say how many hours that course must be, but they do have to take that initial course. And then 4 hours of continuing education each year. Why HOA members got really clubbed over the head by having to take 4 hours of continuing education, while condo owners only have to take 1, I don't know. I would never have done it that way. I would have done it the reverse.
And you teach both.
I teach both, yeah, but there's a lot more to know. A lot more to know for condos, obviously, right?
Yeah.
With all the new safety measures
Than HOAs.
that get changed each year lately too.
This shows
than
you that
HOAs.
the legislature doesn't know what the hell is going on.
I just think that before you pass a bill, just like the banks wanted to be at the table for these things, you should have a roundtable discussion with the attorneys that practice in this area, with the banks that loan in this area, with potentially the engineers and construction people that work in this
had
area.
tons of
How about we
roundtables,
sit down?
but he didn't have any bankers or
No,
anything
no.
like that. The lawmakers didn't either.
Again, rushed. Okay.
All they did was talk about, everyone can't afford
Right.
it.
A lot of good originally. I really think it was a lot of good. But now, last year, terribly rushed. Terribly rushed. All right, that brings us to the end of another show. If you need legal help off the air, please give us a call during the week at Glazer and Sachs, 954-983-1112. Again, 954-983-1112. And of course, we'll see and speak to you again next Sunday. It's always an honor to be with you here Sundays at 11 on Condo Craze and HOAs. Everybody have a wonderful, safe week. We'll see you next Sunday.
Thanks, Eric. Thanks, Robert.